Most people believe productivity is about grinding more, sleeping less, and multitasking more. But that's wrong. And today we're flipping upside down those myths and show you the 3 simple rules that ultra-productive people live by in order to triple their output throughout the day. Use it and you feel unstoppable. But if you don't, you might get stuck and you see others sprint ahead of you. Let's now make this happen and start right away with myth number 1. Do everything, everywhere, all at once. I can imagine you can relate to that. Sometimes you have those days when your to-do list is really, you see, very long, and it's so difficult to really focus on the task and know which one you should go first, that you just already feel overwhelmed looking at your to-do list. And that's what ultra-productive people do. They do completely the opposite. Instead of looking at the entire to-do list, they pick out the 3 most important items on the list. 3 most important items, it can be points that really have the largest contribution to the overall pictures. Topics that have the biggest added value for others or in biggest output from the task itself. And instead then of looking at all of the different items, they focus on the top 3 points, and everything else, it can wait for the moment until it's completed. Now imagine, instead of this long list, you just pick out 3 items and your workload already feels much lighter, and you're really focused and you're really excited as well to work on the task because you know it's a bit less task on your list itself. So remember, instead of taking the entire list, focus on the most important items. What could happen also during the day? You say, yes, okay, I have my focus time. I start working on my key project, but then what happens? You get an email coming in, then a chat message, somebody asking you something as well. It's okay. You could see it a bit as a challenge to see how willing are you to complete your task, how concentrated are you to get your task done. Remember, in that moment, it's okay that this task comes in, but you could think of responding to it at a later time. For example, for emails and chat messages, schedule some time in your calendar when you're going to respond to that messages. If you have a colleague coming by, think about, you could also say, can I come back to you later? I'm working on something important right now. And if it's okay, then you can continue working on your task. And when you have some time, you go back to your colleague and you give them all your focus, all your attention to really help them out with whatever they needed help with. Let me recap. In order to really be productive, the first rule is to ruthlessly prioritize tasks. Instead of doing everything that you have on your plate, pick out the 3 most important items and just give your best for those 3 items. Because this way you can be sure that those 3 important items, they're done with good quality instead of doing everything at the same time with lots of mistakes, etc. Here's a tip as well. Elon Musk, he even has the 5-minute rules. So instead of really choosing 1 hour for his focus times, he breaks down the key task into sub-steps, and then within 5 minutes, he needs to solve this task. Within this 5 minutes, nothing else can distract him. He really makes sure that within this 5 minutes, everything is done with ultra focus. Sounds interesting, right? Then let's have a look at myth number 2. Work long hours to get ahead. But it's completely wrong, because the solution is energy management. What do I mean with energy management? It means that ultra productive people, they don't work 9 to 5 hours. They really look at when their energy is peaking. And when they're the most productive, that's when they do the most important task. Remember, when you're the most productive, when you're the most energetic, that's when you do your key task. Because then all your brain is working towards making sure that you complete the task. Let me put it differently. Let's say you need to do something very analytical. Of course, you wouldn't do it just shortly before going to bed because you're half sleepy and you're very likely to make mistakes. This means ultra-productive people really look at when they thrive the best and then allocate tasks accordingly. It means for you, you have a look at how do you work? What time is the best for you to work on specific tasks? For example, when do you need to do analytical work? When are you good with doing creative tasks? When are you good with doing technical topics? And knowing this helps you to also structure your day and align yourself accordingly. For example, for those that are very productive in the morning, schedule your focus time in the morning. And then in the afternoon, you could focus on having more conversations, meetings, or brainstorming sessions with colleagues in order to really come up with some great ideas. It means if you ignore energy You crawl through your to-do list while others, they set up the to-do list for you as well. Let's have a look at myth number 3. Motivation is everything. No. But instead, the solution are systems. Because willpower and motivation is limited. Especially motivation is emotion. It comes and goes, comes and goes. Sometimes it stays longer, sometimes it's longer absent. You really cannot control it. But you need to control your output, right? So that's why you want to have something that is more reliable, that is consistent. And that's where the systems come in place. For example, those systems can be something that helps you get encouraged to energize yourself, or also to come up with some other ideas to work on. But let me give you some specific examples. For example, you could think about specific time blocks to do several tasks at the same time. Let's say you need to send out one email, but to different people with different kind of adjustments. You could prepare one template and then adjust it for everybody. Another part is to think about automation. Let's say you have a manual task that you need to do every time. Instead of doing it every time manually, you find a way to automate it so that whenever you need to come back to the task, it's already done for you because you set up an automation. Doesn't that sound cool? So it means really you look at kind of systems in place in order to really help you be as productive as possible. Another system in place that supports also the energy management is to think about when you feel a bit sluggish, think about points that will help you to energize yourself again. Some ultra productive people, they for example do some smaller exercises, some breathing exercises, or just think about points they're grateful for. Or one thing I've also heard about, if you watch cute videos or something like little kittens or something cute, it also wakes you up and energizes you for the next part. But keep it in moderation, of course. Think about systems that really help you to be as productive as possible throughout the day. And of course, don't only rely on motivation or willpower to really push through, soldier through. No, the systems are there to help you continuously really go throughout the day. I know all the good things are free, but it's such an interesting topic. And in order to be even more productive, let me add a little sparkle on top of it, a bonus tip, which is about balance fuels longevity. What do I mean with that? Of course, in order to be very productive throughout the day, you need to balance yourself as well. So it's not only about working more, sleeping less, and really finding ways to optimize everything. No, you need to have throughout the day a balance. It means, what can be one of those balances? You can focus on your hobbies. You can focus on spending time with your family. You can also spend some time just to really make sure that you have enough sleep throughout the day. For example, Jennifer Lopez, she always thinks about making sure that she has minimum 8 to 9 hours of sleep every day. Again, it's about finding the right balance for you to energize yourself. I mean, you can only be productive if your battery is fully charged. And you can charge this battery differently, with enough sleep, spending time with your family, have some good moments, or also doing the things that really energize you, that you're passionate about. Doing your latest DIY project, going to the garden, take care of some beautiful plants, do some handcrafts, etc. The list is long. Just look at something that really energizes you and makes you happy as well. Now, all in all, for sure, the busiest people doesn't always mean that they're the most productive. In order to be productive, remember the 3 points, which is about ruthless prioritization. Energy is important. It's your most important treasure. And make sure that whenever you organize your task, it's according to your peak moment of energy during the day. And of course, motivation is not everything. It's about systems that help you to be as productive as possible throughout the day. Try out one of those tips tomorrow and let me know how did it work. And of course, you will see massive changes throughout the day. I'm curious to hear your feedback. Speak to you soon. Of course, one more thing. Please remember to subscribe to the channel because I will share with you many more of such tips, and they're definitely something that will be interesting for you. Bye.